I'm losing it. And hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen watching. We are finally here on finals day for the ANU Semester 1 League of Legends Rumble. So we're going to start off with the third place match, which will be a best of three between Zwang and Goon Squad. So,
fear the shadows.
to keep in the context, these two teams did both drop a game in the upper bracket, which caused them to drop down into the loser bracket here, but they both fought all the way through that losers bracket, and now they are going to clash in the finals of the loser bracket to play for that third place prize. So it looks like both teams with a pretty clear draft plan. Dandy gonna have his Katarina taken away from him. Mr. Grey not gonna access that Kane for himself. And Mr. Grey has shown that he's able to play a lot of these meta style picks from previous games, and you can see these strong meta junglers are being banned away by Mr. Grey with that Rumble, with that Kane taken away. On the other hand, KipQX has a very defined jungling style. He definitely plays more of those supportive, engaged tank style junglers. So something like, Sejuani, or something like a Poppy even, or a Zac. So very different jungling styles. While Mr. Grey sticks to more of the meta champion, so he's shown that he's very adaptable and flexible to the meta. KipQX definitely has a more defined style that works for him and his team. So Luda gonna be taken away. So they don't want that super strong enchanter right now to be given away to Volkner for Zwang. And, well, was that a no ban for Zwang actually? So it looks like Zwang missing out on a ban there. So unfortunate for them, they're gonna be one ban down for this series. Or for the start of this game anyway. So now what will Goon Squad do? Would they be able to capitalize on that one less ban from Zwang? Vladimir banned away from Dandy. Actually, it was more against Immerscod maybe. I believe both these players can flick a Vladimir, but Immerscod showed last night in their game against the Salty Boys, which was an absolute banger of a series. If you guys want to rewatch that VOD, it will be available on our Twitch channel. But yeah, that series went to 3 games last night, and in game 3, Immerscod really popped off on that Vladimir. He played the laning phase super well and smartly, and was able to just scale up into a monster. So very understandable that Goon Squad bans that away from him. But now what Goon Squad will get is that Malphite. And I wonder if that lack of a ban from Zwang is going to bite them here, because Darcy has been very comfortable on the Malphite pick. And he's shown that Mr. Grey as well has shown that he's able to play around this huge gank setup from that Malphite in the mid lane in Darcy. Now Sylas is going to be locked away. Maybe they're afraid of Zwang picking a Sylas here, since it is still available. And the Sylas with a Malphite ult is kind of just an upgraded Malphite in every way. He's kind of a Malphite that can still do stuff after he ults. So maybe Goon Squad picking away Sylas. Sylas is a very strong champ in the meta right now, so maybe a combination of taking away that Sylas counter pick while getting themselves a strong champion as well. Now Supernub is going to lock in that Ezreal. He had quite good success on that Ezreal last night. And what's Dandy going to pick away this time? The Katarina is taken away from him. Dandy did show to play a very mean Sylas last night as well, so I believe that's a very smart pick away to pick that Malphite and Sylas if you are Goon Squad, as I am sure that Dandy would have loved to pick that Sylas into the Malphite there. Now Morgana be taken away as well, so Mr. Grey probably going to be under Morgana. Now that is a bit of a worry if I'm being honest for Goon Squad, because that is quite a lot of AP committed. That is mid, jungle, and top lane all going AP champions. So something like a Merc Tread will be ridiculously efficient if you are Zwang this game. So that could be scary, and Nasus is definitely a champion that is more than happy to stack magic resist. He'd be able to get those Mercury Treads, maybe an early Spirit Visage as well. After that first Divine Sunderer, of course, which is a must buy on Nasus. But I don't know, Merc treads are looking way too efficient this game, so I'd be a little bit scared if I was Goon Squad, so they definitely need a very hard-hitting tank shredder in the ADC role to punish these sort of tanks on Zwang's side for stacking magic resistance. And Zwang might know that. Jinx taken away, hyper carry ADC. You don't have the heart for this. Lucian gonna be banned away from Dandy there. Lucian would be able to abuse this Malphite early and get a lot of lane priority. So it is a smart ban there in my opinion. And what is Zwang going to reply by here? It's gonna be the Ashe taken away. So maybe targeting more like comfort there rather than for the composition. And often in these very important money matches, teams do revert to their sort of comfort champions. Now Immerse God on the Nasus as well. He'll be very confident in it. And I said Goon Squad needs a strong, tank shredding ADC that they can't just ignore, and they lock that in. It's gonna be Avov on the Vayne. And now Zwang, will they go for that Castellan? It was hovered very briefly. They're gonna take their time with this last pick in the mid lane. They can be pretty confident that it's probably going to be in a Malphite, just knowing the players of Goon Squad. And normally you would expect it to be Silence mid Malphite top, but I'm sure Zwang has done their scouting and find it more likely that it's going to be Malphite mid. And look at that. Malphite mid is a champion mid lane. The downside is he can't really punish any of these hyper scaling mid laners, and Zwang capitalize on that Malphite pick. They're going to lock in this Cassidy for Dandy. And I don't know, this is looking scary if you're a Goon Squad. That triple AP topside as well. Cassidy is going to be ridiculously efficient against that. As you know, Cassidy taking 15% reduced magic damage from all sources. But now, are Goon Squad going to flex here? Maybe they lock in the set. It's probably going to be set support, but there is a small chance that it goes something like set jungle and they flex Morgana to support. And that could somewhat fix their triple AP topside, but I don't know, if I'm being honest, this draft, I would definitely much rather be Zwang in this game. Something like a Poppy, Nasus, they have an incredibly tanky front line, so it's going to really be Evo versus the world here. And this Cassidy is really going to have a very free time scaling up this game. Malphite is not going to be able to poke out a Cassidy at all, basically. Especially if Danny goes fleet of footwork. And then he might be a little bit vulnerable to Malphite ulting him at level 6 if Morgana is there for the follow-up. But Cassidy is a fairly safe champion in that respect, as long as he's not ulting into the Malphite. So what can Goon Squad do to really stop this Cassidy? And something like a Vayne, even though she does input a lot of DPS, she's not really a long-range ADC that can stay out of range of a Cassidy. So I keep hyping up on it and I keep mentioning this Cassidy, but I really think that was such a huge lock-in for Zwang, and they've played this draft very intelligently. So we'll definitely have to see now if Goon Squad can create a lot of early skirmishes with their early lane pressure. Maybe this game will go in their favor. They should have lane priority across most of their matchups. You definitely expect the Silas to push in that Nasus in the early game, and Malphite as well, to kind of get priority over the Cassidy. He does have more wave clear in general. So maybe they can abuse this faster clear time from Darcy on the Morgana pick. Because the Morgana would definitely be able to clear the jungle a lot quicker than the Poppy. So maybe they will be able to snowball the game through Scuttle Crab control and through these early dragon objectives. And they're definitely on a ticking timer if you're a Goon Squad. Now the Silas vs Nasus matchup, it's interesting because Silas should dominate this Nasus early game, but I think it's kind of inevitable when a Nasus picks up that Sheen And maybe all this Nasus needs is Sheen and Merc Treads, and he might really start winning when he hits level 6. He might just be able to all in the Silas, but I could definitely be proven wrong here. But I would say no matter how this game goes, when Immerse God picks up that Divine Sunder for himself, he's going to win that side lane against anyone on the side of Green Squad. Except maybe if Avo flexes and tries to match the Nasus. So Green Squad definitely will want to snowball this game early and play around these dragons. Although they do have a hyperscaler in Vayne, it's going to be pretty hard, to be honest, for Avo to get much done this game. She does have plenty of frontline to hit, but she simply gets outranged by an Ezra in these teamfights. Supernub can kind of poke this Vayne out without committing too much. And either way, if Avo tries to close the gap onto this Ezra, he will be tumbling into a Kassadin. So overall, Zhuang definitely have an easier draft to play out, but then Green Squad might be confident in themselves to snowball this game early, which they have shown to be able to do. And I should mention as well, the last time these two teams played, it was in the upper bracket, and Green Squad managed to edge out the victory over Zhuang with a 2-1 victory. It was a close series, however. So it's exciting to see these two teams meet up once again. As we now start loading into game here. So look to see maybe possibly a cheeky little invade from both these teams. Both these teams have pretty good level 1 setup. You have a Silas available on the side of Green Squad, whereas, well, Zhuang, they've got a Norless. One of the scariest level 1s, that they could definitely chain that Norless hook with a Poppy E into a wall. So, I'll give it a fair chance that there's gonna be some sort of level 1 invade. That will be very fun to see for sure. As we load onto game here, let's take a look at the runes from both teams. Nothing too out of, nothing too unexpected from both these teams. As we load on into game, here we go. This is game 1 of the 3rd place match of the ANU Semester 1 Rumble. And we're gonna have Zhuang on the blue side taking on Green Squad. So Zhuang did have a higher seeding from the round robin, which is why they got side selection game 1. And they will also have side selection game 3, should it go to 3 games. And you can see, as expected, here come the pings. Zhuang looking for an invade. They're stacking as 5. They do have an incredibly strong level 1 here. Ezra as well, super strong champ level 1.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Just in terms of raw DPS. And here we go. We have a bit of a loop. And they are going to be spotted, however. Meerkat does react on time. So it looks like this hook is not going to be able to land here. So well scouted by Green Squad, very nicely defended. So this level 1 is not going to pay off. However, Green Squad weren't able to really capitalize and get some deep vision off, so it's going to be a net neutral invade after that.
Lot of good mages out there.
But very nicely done by Green Squad to properly fan out with the level 1 defense. So it looks like actually both junglers starting topside this game. So both junglers going to be parting the same way, and oh, a very nice trade by Dandy already. Mr. Grey actually missing the chains. It landed on a minion, and Kastner with a nice trade level 1. And actually, yeah, as I mentioned, it looks like it's going to be a lane swap, so Sweaty Jeans is going to be taking the Malphite in the top lane, with the Silas going mid lane into the Kastner. But I don't think, either way, I don't think Silas is very good into a Kastner generally with this matchup. And you can see Dandy is kind of controlling this lane already. Kastner does very well into AP champions. Mr. Grey going in for a very heavy trade here, but Dandy procs the electrocute, procs the flash, and both mid laners burn flashes, and the Q is barely not enough to kill Mr. Grey, but already action going down in the mid lane. But now that both mid laners are low, Mr. Grey will be much happier with this lane phase. Or with the state of the lane, more like. Thanks to his W getting much better based on missing health and the healing as well. So with that lane swap, it should be mentioned Immerscott gets a really safe lane to kind of just farm Q stacks off. Malphite's not going to be able to put any pressure onto a Nasus. So the trade-off for that is, the Sylas will be able to put more pressure onto a Kassadin early game. Much more than a Sylas. I mean, much more than a Malphite. So I do like this trade, this swap from Goon Squad. You're probably more scared of the Nasus, of the Kassadin getting super strong compared to a Nasus. Nasus does just get more damage with the stacks, but he still has the same weakness in that he can be kited out. Another trade by Mr. Grey, but he has a level disadvantage, and look at that damage. The electrocute is procced by Dandy, and that's first blood. Going over to the side of Zwang. With that Kassadin pick up. Dandy very confident in his trading there. Meanwhile, top lane, Sweaty trying desperately to kind of trade and poke at this Nasus, but you can see with the fleet footwork, Immerscott has so much sustain that he does not really care whatsoever. And he's just full health now. And now KipQX going for a gank onto Sweaty. Sweaty is going to have to burn his flash, but I don't think there's enough damage. No, there is not enough damage to follow up there. But still a nice gank. Burns that Malphite flash. And now Dandy's accelerated in this mid lane with that early kill on the Kassadin. Saying that though, gold is still even across the board. But if we look on the top side, Darcy looking for a gank of Immerscott. Immerscott has no flash, he actually only has Ghost, but a nice little juke there. Using that movement speed from the Ghost, so he will be fine there. So both top laners with no escape spells anymore. Now Mr. Grey trying to trade onto this Kassadin, but you can see this matchup is really not favorable to a Sylas. And Dandy just gonna get that kill with the Q there. So Mr. Grey not really respecting that range there, and he gets taken out. So Dandy's controlling this mid lane. And Sylas normally able to bully out a lot of these melee matchups, but against the Kassadin with his flat 15% reduced damage against AP champions, which Sylas is basically 100% AP. Not even his auto attacks are really physical damage. So that's just simply why this matchup is so rough for a Sylas. And Dandy really piloting this Kassadin very well with that electrocute aggressive summoner spell. And now interestingly we saw Dandy teleport to this dragon. And Zwang are gonna start this up mid-pat. Gonna miss the E there. Smite goes down by KipQX, and now Avov is in big trouble here. He's gonna go down to the ignite. And Volkner picks up that kill. Now Dandy jumping in Meerkat, landing that set W onto Dandy. Can Dandy finish off Meerkat? Yes, he can. And now it's going to be a party in the bottom lane. Here comes Sweaty Jeans with the Malphite up, but he has no mana left. KipQX is going to knock him up, and that's going to be a very heavy fight going in favor of Zwang. And now it's 6 kills to 1. Dragon also going over to Zwang. And already a 1.5k gold lead. So there's absolutely huge pickups there by Zwang. And especially with their scaling as well. Look at that. 2 kills going over to this Nasus. Another 2. Or another 1 kill going to Dandy on this Kassadin. And I don't know, if you're Goon Squad, you would definitely start pressing the panic button about now. And Avo is not really far ahead enough on this Vayne to really pull in a big threat. This Caston is really gonna have no threats on in this game, apart from this third Vayne. Now Darcy lands the binding onto Volkner. Volkner might be return killed here. Volkner has to burn the flash. Avo does have flash available. He's gonna flash in and get 2 autos off. Here he goes. But here comes Dandy as well. And look at that damage onto Vayne. That's 2 kills going over to Super Nub. That's a double kill for Super Nub. Meerkat still has the W available to him. Does use it. And it looks like he will be able to escape. No! Super Nub flashes in. Beautiful there. Auto into the queue. And that's a triple kill for this Ezreal. And Zwang is pulling far ahead in this early game. Dandy with a nice roam there to secure that. Now Kip QX is going to gank Sweaty Jeans. Sweaty Jeans has no ultimate available to him. Knock up lands onto him, and this is just going to be a dead Malphite as well. Kip QX gets that kill. And Zwang have been dominating this early game so far. And that's also going to be 2 tower plays at least going over to the side of Zwang. Now, Mr. Great going to have to be careful here. Uses that Ian, but look at that damage onto the Silas. And he's in trouble. Kip QX, will they look for the dive here? No, they respect the Silas' ability to heal up. So Mr. Great will just survive, but he did have to burn flash. And now Dandy looking for a roam onto bottom side here. Volkner's going to get condemned into the wall, but here comes the R flash from Dandy, and Avo just gets absolutely one-shot. Ignite goes down to the Meerkat. That's going to be Dandy picking up another kill. And if your level 6 Kassadin is able to one-shot already, I don't know if you are Goon Squad. This game is looking like it is basically a wrap. But we will have to see if Goon Squad can pull through and bring this back. And Dandy just not afraid of the Silas whatsoever, going in super aggressively against Mr. Grey. Taking out most of his health bar. 10 Dark Seal stacks at 9.5 minutes on this Kassadin. And now Hook does just go wide. So Avo breathes a sign of relief at there. Well, actually Meerkat was there, so maybe it was better for Volkner that the hook didn't land actually. And now Super Nub and Volkner both in the bush. Arcane shifts forward. Does get stunned up by Meerkat. Meerkat is not level 6 though, so he can't really punish. A nice face breaker by the set there though. Now, there Darcy is in big trouble here. Dandy waiting for that second ultimate. Yes, he does get it, and that's another kill to this Kassadin. Mr. Gay trying desperately to steal away the Poppy ultimate to kind of disengage that fight, but it just was not enough. And a commanding early game lead for Zwang. Over 5k. 5.5k lead already for Zwang. Now Volkner just chilling out of range, giving full plating to Super Nub. So very intelligent there by him. You can see Super Nub with that Essence Reaver already completed. He's going to be churning out some huge damage. Rift Toad going to be spawned in the top lane. So it looks like Zwang going to be looking to take that early first tower. Now Darcy might be able to respond with the dragon. Looks like he will be going towards it. Now Dandy with those double buffs. Looking super scary on the Kassadin. Now this Rift Toad gonna get a second charge as well. Sweaty not really gonna be able to deny it, and Immerse God opting to just ignore this Malphite, and this is the problem. They are just completely ignoring the Malphite, and now ult is used by Sweaty Jeans. Immerse God does pop ultimate, he does use the ghost to get out, but they will get that tier 2 tower. And oh boy, Dandy has just spent his gold and he picks up a Everfrost and Sorcerer's Shoes. Now, without a doubt, he will just completely one-shot anyone on the side of Goon Squad. Barring maybe the Malphite or Set. And look at that gold lead. It is just ballooning out of control. 7.5k now. Flash from Meerkat trying desperately to get the stun of the Super Nub, but here comes the teleport. It is going to be interrupted, but will Mr. Grey pay with his life for that? Dandy looks like he's not going to be able to get it. He might go for a dive here. No, he does know that Darcy's in the bush. The binding does land, but the ultimate is buffered on time. And now Darcy and Mr. Grey might be in big trouble. And look at that damage! Darcy just gets deleted from the game. Sweaty Jeans comes in, but he does not have ultimate available to him, and this Malphite has to flash out as well. Immerse God is going to chase. The chains do land onto Immerse God, but look at that. They are just going to get routed. And that is 2 more kills going over to Zwang. And Dandy, 14 out of 15 kill participation on a Caston, and he doesn't even have rank 2 ultimate yet.
Turret plating will soon fall.
They're gonna give over the blue buff to Dandy here. Resets come out. Bot lane tower also goes down, and it's a 9k gold lead now. So what can you really do if you're a Goon Squad? I hate to call it this early as a caster, but I don't know. Honestly, if you're Goon Squad, I think you just reset your mental focus on next game, because if a Caston is this far ahead at this point in the game, and look at that damage onto Mr. Grey, he's waiting for that second ultimate, and look, Mr. Grey will get out. Actually, no, Dandy follows up, and now he has rank 2 ultimate, so he's only gonna get stronger. And yeah, I think you just reset your mental. This is a best of 3 series, so you will have another chance. But this is looking like a complete stomp, which was unexpected because these two teams, their previous series was super close, and Goon Squad actually won out their last series. But Zwang have definitely showed a lot of adaptation in it, and they've turned out and they've showed up for this game 1. What a statement to make. And Dandy probably going to be able to knock down this tower here. Mr. Grey really can't contest this. Dandy just going to ignore him, and here we go. Mr. Grey might be in trouble here. Look at that damage from Dandy. And Mr. Grey just going to get soloed down as well in the mid lane. 17-2, game 1. And I don't know, what else can you really say about this game? Nice little hook by Volkner, securing the cannon there. I like it. And even in the bot lane, Supernop doing so much damage onto Avo. Now, the ultimate does go wide. Nice condemn, but it did not matter in the end. The fights are not even close. Supernop just too far ahead item-wise. Has 2 mythics already completed compared to, well, not much on the side of Avo. And Meerkat trying desperately to chase them down, but Supernub just churning out the damage. Arcane shifts forward. Conqueror is proc. Darcy and Mr. Grey does land the Nautilus ultimate down, but there's just nothing you can do. They are just too far behind. Binding does land, but there's no follow-up available. And here comes Dandy. Look at him on the map. Stacking up that ultimate. The hook does just go wide by the Nautilus. Ultimate going down onto Darcy. Root lands from the Everfrost onto him. And Mr. Grey taken down again. Super Nob picking up that kill. Dandy going for the Magi's as well. 12 stacks already. (19-2) the kill score. 11.5k gold lead. Gold lead just ballooning out of control. Kip QX gonna pick up that dragon as well.
Blue team has slain the dragon.
And well, I think we're kind of just waiting for this Baron to spawn and Zwang to inevitably take it and probably close out this game. But we'll have to see. Now Vod1 might be caught out here. Chain does land onto him and Vod1 is going to go down. Vod does get the kill as well, so a nice pickup. Now Set ultimate does go down onto Dandy, but he is able to escape, and now here is Immersegod tanky as hell in the front line there, tanking the tower shots, but here comes Sweaty, a nice 3-man ultimate, and Immersegod, will he go down? Yes, he will. Sweaty does go down, but here comes Dandy. Look at that damage onto the vein. Here comes Mr. Grey trying desperately to clean this up. Supernova is going to arcane shift in forward. Darcy trying to get the ultimate off, but he's going to go down before he can even land, but he does land the binding under tower, so Dandy does go down. And well, that was a pretty close fight actually, but it was a 4v5 for the side of Zwang. And Supernub is going to live to survive and take out this tier 2 tower. But a good attempt to Goon Squad to try to salvage something from this game. But at the end of the day, it's just going to be a tier 2 picked up. They did get quite a few very nice shutdowns onto themselves though. So as you can see, the gold actually swinging slightly in favor of Goon Squad, even though they took out that tier 2. So they will be pretty happy with that fight, but still, it is still an 11k gold lead. Now Avo, with that kill, will be able to pick up his first mythic, so maybe he will be able to have more impact in these fights now. We'll have to see. Baron spawning in less than a minute now. Then he's gonna grab the blue for himself, and it looks like Zwang gonna try to take that second Rift Herald before it despawns. And now Dandy lands the Everfrost onto Sweaty. Sweaty does have ultimate available, but he might just be dead regardless. He ults out, Dandy flash ults in and kills Sweaty Jeans just like that. And even though this Malphite is tanky with Sunfire Cape and Mercury Treads, it didn't really look like he was a tank, did it? Danny's just too far ahead on this Cassidy. He picks up 4 stacks for himself. And well, look at all that magic resistance as well. From the top side of Zwang, Immersegod and KipQX both going towards that magic resistance. Immersegod picking up that force of nature. So gonna get himself the movement speed, valuing the movement speed over the spirit visage healing, which is fair enough as well. Getting kited is definitely a big weakness of Nasus, so force of nature will help negate that. And now Baron just gonna be started up by Zwang as expected, and you can see Dandy just playing goalkeeper, just playing bodyguard. He's daring Goon Squad to walk into their own topside jungle, but they really have none of it. Binding does land onto him. Mr. Grey will be able to chain it with the root, and Dandy is going to get out, and Dandy, successful there, buys enough time for his team to get that ban for free. And now we might have an ensuing fight here. Oh, Zonya's is popped by Darcy there. Maybe a misclick. Hook lands onto Mr. Grey. Pretty big set ultimate by Meerkat, but there's just no follow-up, and he just gets taken out. And now Zwang looking to close out this game. They're not going to bother splitting up. They're going to spawn that Rift Herald. They want that dancing Shelly. And they are 13k ahead, and who blames them for being this confident? That's going to be middle inhibitor falling. Shelly hasn't even taken any damage yet. And Binding does land. Hook does go wide by Norris, but look at that. Avo just gets deleted by Dandy. They do take out that Cassidy in return, but look at Supernub. He's just free hitting from the backline. He's pumping in so much damage on this Ezreal. And now Mr. Grey trying desperately to defend this, but he's going to get taken down as well. And Supernub going to finish this off. That's going to be a dominating Game 1 performance for Zwang. It was not even close, and what a statement to start out the series. And a lot of that early game from Zwang was carried through by Dandy. He had amazing kill participation, 24 out of 29 this game. And Supernub was able to just pump out that DPS as well at the same time. So let's take a look at the damage shots here, and look at that. As expected, the 2 carries of Zwang pumping out a huge amount of damage this game. And what a strong game 1 for the side of Zwang. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back very shortly for game 2. And we are back right into it for game 2. So this time, Goon Squad gonna be the team that elects into the blue side. They did have side selection for this game. So we might see a completely different draft here, and if you're Goon Squad, you definitely do want to switch things up this game. So let's see what they can pull out. So NASA's gonna be taken away from Immerse God this time. And now, Kane banned away as well from Goon Squad. Lulu taken out again from Vod1. So nothing too different so far, apart from that NASA span.
Let me get in there.
And now the Tristana, gonna be banned. So Zwang,
Is that fear I see?
banning out very similar champions here. Dandy not gonna get his Katarina.
Alright, I'm going.
And Rumble, again, taken away from Mr. Grey, who has popped off on that champion many times. I believe every time he's picked it, Goon Squad have won. So what would the adaptation from Goon Squad be this game? So first pick here for Goon Squad gonna be that Shen. So maybe Goon Squad gonna lean towards more of a protective composition, but Shen does grant a lot more early game security. Having that early global ability is super invaluable. Now Norlis gonna be picked up for Vod1 again, and they're gonna go with that Norlis Ezreal bot lane combination. If it isn't broken, then you don't need to fix it. So similar drafts so far coming out from both these teams. And now Ash this time picked up for the side of Goon Squad. And Corki gonna be the hover for the mid lane. And I don't know about this one. We'll have to see if Goon Squad lock that in. No, they're gonna go towards a Z pick? No. LeBlanc being hovered for Darcy right now. And nope, they're gonna go towards that Morgana. So Goon Squad, they don't pick mid laner yet. They leave up Shen, but now the Vladimir, there it is, available for Zwang. So Immerscod gonna be able to pick that Vladimir into the Shen matchup, which is such a easy scaling matchup for Vladimir. Basically just needs to pull that taunt, and then Shen can't really follow up if Immerscod takes the phase rush on that Vladimir. Now LeBlanc gonna be taken away. It was hovered there by Goon Squad. So Dandy does not want to go into that champion. And now Cassidy banned away from Goon Squad, which leads me to incline that maybe Goon Squad want to go for an AP mid laner. So I wonder what Zwang will respond with here. And the Malphite taken away. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking with that Cassidy ban, Goon Squad wanted to get that Malphite pick for Darcy secured. So that Cassidy doesn't just get a free scaling lane, but Zwang do the same as I do, and they read that, and they ban away that Malphite. Now Silas taken away from Dandy as well. So Dandy won't have access to that champion. So we'll have to see what they go with. And a Gragas being hovered here. This is very different for Zwang. I don't believe they picked that champion yet. So let's see if they lock it in. No, it is going to be switched up. Kindred being hovered now in the mid lane. And nope, they are going to go back towards the standard, which is Kip QX on his Poppy. The Poppy jungle with the Dark Harvest. Such a unique pick. But it's been working out. I don't believe it's lost a game yet, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's definitely been picked quite a few times now by the side of Zwang. So now, Goon Squad, they're gonna lock in the Xin Zhao here. So is that going to be a Xin Zhao mid? Or is it going to be a Morgana mid with a Xin Zhao jungle? Or Morgana support perhaps? I believe the last pick here will kind of confirm where everything is going. And it's going to be a Corki lock-in. And it was smart to ban that Cassidy if you're going to lock in the Corki. But I don't know, it is going blind into the mid lane. I'm pretty sure this Vladimir is top lane. And yes, Dandy's just going to lock in that Lucian. So that's going to be a very rough matchup for whoever pilots that that Corki in the mid lane. And Dandy absolutely dominated game 1 with a counter pick in the mid lane, and he's going to get a counter pick once again into Darcy piloting the Corki. So Mr. Grey is going to switch back to jungle. So very early game jungler here for Mr. Grey. So let's see if he can... Xin Zhao are going to win a lot of these early skirmishes. Has a lot of ganking power as well with that update. So Mr. Grey is going to be looking to cause a lot of early game ganks. And a lot of pressure early game. And he does have a lot of ganks set up from bot lane and top lane. And potential to get Sweaty Jeans to follow up with an ultimate. But once again, I would have to favor Zwang with the scaling here purely because of this Vladimir pick. And even something like a Ezreal and Lucian can kite back very well against the composition of Goon Squad. But then Goon Squad have a lot of early gank pressure this time to trade off. So even though last game Zwang kind of had, better scaling and winning lane matchups. But this game, at least Goon Squad have much more gank setup early and pressure. But again, I don't know. Zwang, winning matchup top, winning matchup mid. maybe losing matchup bot lane. So Goon Squad do have maybe a winning matchup bot lane with the Morgana able to deny a lot of these Nordic engages, but I don't know. Vladimir probably beats a Shen and outscales him at the same time, and Lucian's probably gonna dominate this Corki in the mid lane. I believe it's a very rough matchup for Corki. So it is a bit scary. It's looking a little bit scary once again. But maybe Goon Squad will be able to pull it out of the bag here. Mr. Grey definitely going to be able to offer a lot of gank setup. And a lot of pressure in the early game. But I say that once again, and KipQX on the Poppy is going to do very well into his Xin Zhao. He's going to be able to deny that Xin Zhao dash in fairly easily. So the more I think about it, the more I favor Zwang's draft once again. Zwang pulling off these very flexible but very nice drafts and very strong drafts overall, basically, from them. So I'd be pretty scared if I'm Goon Squad, but once again, definitely can be proven wrong here. These Rumble games have a lot of variance in them, so nothing's definitely set in stone yet. As we wait for that load-in time here. And one thing Goon Squad do have in their favor is they do have that global presence from a Shen. So maybe they'll be able to set up a lot of these early skirmishes or play around these early dragons and try to snowball this game. However, Immersgod has shown time and time again on these sort of scaling champions top lane, he's able to manipulate lane states very well. So he plays very similar styles of champions in that sense. So I'm going to be looking mostly at this bottom lane from Goon Squad. They probably definitely do have a winning matchup there with the Ashe Morgana, so they will have push pressure there. So they might be able to translate their pressure into a lot of early dragons. And I do believe that's going to be the main win condition for the side of Goon Squad. Ticking down those dragons early, trying to play for that soul as soon as possible. As we start loading on in here. So game 2 of the third place match about to start up here. As we are now in game, here we go. So let's take a look at the rune pages. Howler Blades for Mr. Grey here. KipQX going for his standard Dark Harvest build. And it looks like very standard across all sides here. Now, Zwang looking for a Norless invade once again. They still have that Norless Poppy combination for the level 1. They're gonna look for this tri-bush here. They are gonna find Meerkat in this bush. And ooh, that's actually a blind hook by Vokna, and they get the flash out of Meerkat. Very nicely done by Zwang, but I don't know if Zwang saw the Morgana flash go off. So maybe they don't know that. And he's gonna flash in, but Meerkat with a nice E-start, good reaction time there. So Vokna has to waste his flash there. Now Morgana will give up a lot of lane pressure with that E-start. But either way, very worth it for Meerkat. So it's going to be both supports with no flashes. But I am not sure if Zwang are aware that Meerkat has no flash, which is a big deal. If you can't really punish someone for not having a flash because you don't know they have flash, then yeah, it is a lot less big of a deal, I guess. So very nicely done by Meerkat. And Zwang are in full vision. So Goon Squad gonna be able to trade the top side red buff as well at the same time. As you can see, both junglers in full vision, so both teams will know exactly where they are pathing towards. And now bot lane, Volkner might look for a hook onto Evo. He's tanking tower shot here though. He tanked 2 tower shots. And Volkner maybe a bit too aggressive there. That's going to be first blood already picked up by Green Squad's bot lane. But now Supernub is going to try to turn it around. He does have Conqueror fully stacked. And this Ezreal is pumping out the damage. Evolve goes down. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Meerkat looking for this binding though. Can he clean this up? No, he decides to back off there. So 1-for-1 trade going towards both ADCs, but most importantly, the Ezreal got the kill, whereas Evolve did not manage to get that kill. So support getting the kill for the side of Goon Squad compared to Zwang's ADC who gets it. Now a nice taunt by Sweaty Jeans onto Merskod does land a very nice trade there. KitQX is spotted on the Krug camp. And now here comes Mr. Grey looking for that top gank. Merskod has no pool available yet. He does have Flash and Ghost available, however. Looks like gank not going to be successful. So both junglers kind of mirrored clearing right now. Hook landing onto Evolve, and look at that damage from Supernub's follow-up. Volkner does tank 2 tower shots once again, however. And nice binding there by Meerkat, but no follow-up is available. And both junglers are about at the same pace if you look at their CS lines. Now, ooh, Darcy Valkyring in aggressively, trying to set up the gank by Mr. Grey, but not going to be successful in that sense. Mr. Grey does tag Dandy though, and going to land a very nice trade onto him. Some very nice damage there. Merskod going to get taunted up here. And Sweaty pumping out quite a bit of damage on the Shen. Merskod will have the empowered Q available soon. He will not get it off though. So Merskod gonna have to be careful here. If you can't react to the taunt with his pull, then Shen definitely can win this matchup. And now Sweaty, it is gonna be reacted to this time. So good reaction time by Merskod. Or reaction speed more like. Now you can see this Vladimir going to be able to sustain back up slowly. Not as obnoxious in the early game until he gets more points in that Q to lower that CDR. But still quite a lot of sustain in his kit, nevertheless. Now, Mr. Grey again really trying to focus a lot of ganks onto Dandy. Dandy ease forward here, and KipQX is there, and Darcy does burn that flash. Volkner gets binded up there. Hook does go wide by Volkner, so now Meerkat and Evolve can walk up a little bit more aggressively in the lane, but Supernub is going to E4. He does have the minions in his side, so he was confident enough there. And you can see in this top lane, Merskod now back to basically full HP. So fairly quiet early game so far. Both sides very even in gold. Binding does go wide onto Volkner. But now, here comes a gank from Mr. Grey looking for Volkner, and Volkner is just going to go down here. And I believe they're going to try to give the kill onto Evolve. Nope, Mr. Grey does take the kill. Wants to snowball himself early, as does Injao. So a nice kill there by the side of Goon Squad. That is going to net them a bit of an early game advantage, which is exactly what they need this game. And you can see in the mid lane, Darcy has been playing very safe on the Corki. But he is down 20 CS because of it. But I believe that's just about standard for how this matchup goes. Nice Hulk shot there. Gonna spot out Kip QX at his red buff. So you can see Vod1 and Meerkat gonna be able to hold a freeze here. So deny a little bit of minions from Supernub and Volkner. They will probably lose a wave because of it. Cheeky little grass prop there by Sweaty. And now you can see the pain going onto Darcy. The culling is going to be used and Darcy's just going to be taken out. He has no flash available. And that's a solo kill for the side of Dandy. And because of that, it's going to translate into an early dragon for the side of Zwang. Which is a big pickup for them. Start that soul timer stacking.
Red team has slain the dragon.
So now Goon Squad. We'll have to see if Mr. Grey can pull off any more nice ganks here. And oh, the package is going to be dodged out of by Dandy. Nicely done there. So he does not land that big stow. And Kip QX going aggressively onto Mr. Grey. Look at that damage from the Poppy. But Mr. Grey doing a lot of damage in return. Here comes the Shen ultimate. And it's coming in. Taunt lands onto Darcy. And here we go. Mr. Grey almost getting that kill into Dandy. They do get one kill. And that's what I said. The Shen is going to offer them a lot of advantages in these early skirmishes. Meerkat flashing in aggressively forward here, landing the ultimate double stun onto both carries, but Ash Arrow is going to fall up onto Supernova. Very nice spell shield as well by Meerkat, but very, very well played there by the bot laner Goon Squad, but they're not going to get any kills for it. They do burn all the summoners out of Zwang's bot lane, however. And this game looking very different to game 1 here. Goon Squad looking confident in this early game. The hook does land, but he gets instantly binded, does Volkner. And he's going to get some damage in the back here. Ignite is ticking, but he's going to survive. And here comes Darcy though. He is looking, but Kip QX knows he's there. He's going to use that package in, and Avov snipes him. And Darcy getting that kill into Volkner as well. Kip QX will be able to clean up, but either way, still favorable trade for the side of Goon Squad. And a 1.6k gold lead now. They also secured that Herald for themselves before plating, so when that drops, it's essentially going to be a 2k gold lead at 10 minutes, which is quite significant at this time. And Sweaty has done a good job to keep up a CS lead against this Vladimir in the early game. So now wave pushing back into Sweaty. Immerse gonna look to crash that wave here. Mr. Grey is incredibly strong on this Xin now. Has completed that Eclipse for himself. Binding lands onto Volkner. He's gonna have to hook out. But now Immerse got with these levels coming in, level 9 now, starting to heavily win this matchup against the Shen. You could see that annoying poke coming in from this Vladimir. And now we might see a dive here. Immerse got flashes over the taunt, and Sweaty Jeans is just going to go down here. Dandy picks up that kill first on the rope from the mid lane. Now meanwhile on the bottom side, Arrow lands onto Supernub. They are going to take down Meerkat, but Mr. Grey takes him out. Now Red Smite onto Volkner. Will Mr. Grey choose to chase this down? He lands that E onto him, but he won't follow. I'm not sure if that's the Eve of Xin or the W actually. Herald is going to be dropped here, so that's going to be a lot of plating given over to a Evolve and Mr. Grey here. As the tower does go down. So off of that play, it's a 2k gold lead now, as expected for the side of Goon Squad. And it is actually gonna get the second charge. No, it does get taken. No, it did get the second charge off. So quite a lot of damage as well into that bottom tier 2 tower. A nice taunt there by Sweaty Jeans onto Mescod, but he is a Vladimir. He will be able to sustain it back up. You can see Mescod already has such low cooldown. He does tunnel in. He might be in trouble. He has to burn the ghost. He looks like he was just baiting for his jungler. Keep QX. Does get the Shen Flash in return. So well baited there by Mescod. Now, Immerse gonna look for that Q onto Sweaty. So thanks to that top play, Goon Squad are gonna be able to capitalize and get that dragon. So that's the Infernal Dragon for themselves. And it's gonna be a Mountain Soul as well. Now Mr. Grey looking at Volkner, he's gonna find him. Eclipse damage is procced as well. Flash away from Volkner. But now Supernub on the Ezreal might be in big trouble here. And yes, this is just going to be a dead Ezreal. The package coming in from Dusty. Supernub trying to trade 1-for-1, but no. Mr. Grey is going to clap him down. And a good play by Goon Squad. Goon Squad pulling this game quite far ahead so far. And they're doing exactly what they need for their composition. They know that they need to snowball this game early. Before this Vladimir becomes too much of a problem. So a much closer game too, which is very nice to see. Sweaty might get dove once again here. Dandy and Kip QX once again here on the roam. Sweaty Jeans does get knocked up. The teleport is coming through, but Ignite is ticking. And that's going to be a kill, but he does get a return kill on the Kip QX. Darcy is here for the teleport. Here comes Mr. Grey. Red Smite onto Dandy. Can he chase this through? I believe he can. Ultimate is popped by Mr. Grey. But he did not land that W or E. We'll go with... Well, I'll just call it W for this game and hope I'm correct. I believe the E was the old Xinjiao dash, so I think that is the W ability. And that now extends the range of his E. So very close fight there, but in the end it was just a 1-for-1. And now Darcy and Mr. Grey, they're going to be able to knock out this top tower as well. And there it goes. So with that, it's going to be a 2.7k gold lead. Goon Squad are doing well to snowball this lead. Volkner. Binding's going to go wide. So now, if you are the side as Zwang, I think you just try to really stall out this game. Give these next few dragons. No need to be proactive. And now Taunt lands from onto Super Nub under tower. And Sweaty Jeans is probably just going to be able to chase him down here. Heal is burnt for Super Nub, but yes. Nice taunt onto Super Nub there. And that's going to be a solo kill. Meanwhile, Dandy, nice juke onto the binding, but he gets immediately ash-shotted and he gets taken out as well. Meerkat coming in, KipQX trying to knock them away, but it's only a single knock-up and Avo picking up that kill on the KipQX. And now, as I say that, Goon Squad picking up even more kills and the gold lead's going to be snowballed to even more than 4k now. Now, as I was about to say, if you're Goon Squad, you definitely want to slow down this game and not look for these aggressive plays like they have been doing. So Goon Squad more than happy to capitalize on that while they're still so much stronger. And it's going to be a 5k gold lead now. Now binding. Does land onto Volkner, but yeah, if you are Zwang, you do have the scaling in your favor. And you see actually the Krugs able to pop the shield bow of Darcy there. Well played to the little Krugs there. And that is quite a long cooldown, I believe, maybe like 90 seconds, so that does mean that Darcy won't have shield bow available for this dragon fight, which could be pretty big. We'll have to see if it ends up biting him.
Eyes of heaven.
Red buff gonna be donated to Evo. It looks like Zwang are gonna be here first on this dragon, and I don't know, they're pretty far behind right now, so it is gonna be very risky for Zwang to start this up. And Goon Squad are more than happy to contest this, I think. Here comes Mr. Grey onto Immerscott. Immerscott gets popped before he can even pull. And here comes the package to follow up. Volkner gets slowed up, gets taken out as well, and it looks like it's gonna be a rout all over across the map. 3 kills going over to the side of Goon Squad, and Goon Squad looking in firm control of this game too now. That's going to be the Mountain Dragon given over to Goon Squad in game 2 going towards them. Dragon taken out. So after that, it's a 6.5 gold lead for the side of Goon Squad. So it's definitely not looking good for Zwang in this game too. They do have a tiny saving grace in the sense that they do have the scaling on their side, as I've said many times. So it's not quite as doomed as game 1 was looking for Goon Squad. But with such a huge gold lead, I think Goon Squad might be able to just snowball this game and end it pretty early. We'll have to see if they're successful in doing so. Supernub gonna burn the ultimate to scout the Baron. Does land it onto Mr. Grey, I believe. But he does have that eclipse, so we'll be able to lifesteal it back up. Ooh, hook does just go wide. So not much really going on here so far. Darcy looking to side lane here. Will protect this tower. No, the tower will go down, but no local gold was picked up there. So at the end of all this, 6k gold lead. Mr. Grey gonna go straight in, and look at that damage onto the Volkner. And Dandy gonna get stunned up here. Mr. Grey pops the red smite, and here we go. Mr. Grey flashes in, gets the kill. Darcy kills KipQX here, and this might just be a Baron transition. Very nice picks there by Goon Squad. And will they start up this Baron? Yes, they will, straight away. Now, one thing that could be scary is this Vladimir. Immersko does have all summoner spells up, but I do not believe that Zwang are going to contest this Baron. Yes, they're just going to give it over here. So, Goon Squad. Baron going down. 8k gold lead. This is looking like it's going to be a 3-game series. Now Avo prepping that mid wave or mid wave very early here. Now Meerkat landing the binding onto Volkner. Volkner has to hook out. Resets coming in for Goon Squad as well, so they're going to be able to spend that Baron gold. And now let's see what lane assignments they choose to set for themselves here. Taunt does miss. Immersko making his way towards what I believe is going to be, it's going to be a death cap second item for Immersko. So if you're Zwang, you definitely just want to try to delay until your Vladimir gets a death cap, but that is some time away. And Volkner, oh no, the hook misses and lands onto the wall, and he's just going to get popped. Culling is going to be popped by Dandy. Does clear out the way, but the cannon is still alive and whacking this tower very slowly. But you can see this tower slowly falling to this cannon minion. Dandy does take it out. Binding, landing onto Kip QX. Mr. Grey is dominating. He's going to get taken out. Here comes Immersko trying desperately to salvage this, but he just does not have enough damage. And Dandy gonna dash in against Avov and Meerkat, but Avov is doing very well to space it out. He does get hooked though. Meerkat instantly flashes in for the ultimate, and Volkner is gonna get taken out as well. Here comes Sweaty G into the background as well, and this is just gonna be a rout. Goon Squad picking up 3 kills for nothing there, and they are gonna storm down this middle lane. It is now an 11k gold lead for the side of Goon Squad. And now Darcy's going to find Immersko. He does have that empowered Q coming up, but no, he gets taken out before he can even use it. And our Goon Squad are going to go for the end here. That's the inhib going down for the side of Zwang. And yes, it looks like they're going to go for the end. This is Nexus Tower 1 taken out. Nexus Tower 2 is going to be focused next. And as we see the spectator bug come in, so I think that means that Goon Squad did manage to end that game too. So would you look at that? 2 dominating performances. Game 1, Zwang taking that game easily, and game 2, Goon Squad in return also taking a dominating game. So we've seen 2 stomps so far, so maybe that means we're going to lead up into a very close game 3. Hopefully we will anyway for the sake of us viewers, but yes, it was Goon Squad able to close that out. Evolve doing very well on that Ashe, popping off with the damage. But Mr. Grey as well, I think deserves a lot of credit for setting up a lot of these early ganks. Really helped snowball that game out of control. And that Shen pick as well really helped them out. So yeah, that is game 2 completed. We're going to go all the way to 3 games here, so don't go anywhere guys. We'll be back very shortly for the final game of the series.
I'd rather spoil all my friends with my riches. Think we tell therapy, my no
And here we go. We are back for the final game of the series. So, both teams taking pretty dominating games. And it was blue side both games that did win these matchups. So Zhuang, due to their higher seeding in that round robin, do get side selection for this final game here. And they chose expectedly they chose blue side here. So both these matchups have led up to this hype final game of the series, so we'll have to see how this pick and ban phase goes. How these two teams are going to adapt. So Shen and Morgana gonna be banned away. And that Shen definitely played a big part in Goon Squad's success in the early game. So intelligent ban so far by Zhuang. Looks like Goon Squad gonna stick to similar bans, Katarina and Nasus taken away. And if it worked for your last game, there's no point of changing it up. So Goon Squad coming in with the momentum here with winning last game. And Zhuang looking to turn it around. Mr. Grey still not gonna get his rumble.
I recommend skipping.
And also Volkner not gonna get his Lulu either. And straight away, Zhuang gonna lock in the null list for themselves, so they've shown that they have very high priority on that pick. And maybe because it's a very blind pickable support. The change up this game is there's not gonna be a Morgana for the side of Goon Squad. Goon Squad have picked it both games, I believe, and one game they used it jungle, and the second game they've used it support. So they're gonna have to adapt now with a new pick. Now Ava gonna be picking that Ashe again, so he seems to be very comfortable on that pick. So that's gonna be locked in last. Or first, more like. And now, Urgot. This is gonna be a new pick here. Sweaty Jeans. Gonna show off his Urgot. So that's gonna be a big change up in the draft here. We have not seen that champion yet this series. So it's definitely a big unknown, but here we go. KipQX. He gets his Zac. And he was MVP material last night on that Zac pick. Was able to really set up a lot of ganks, especially through mid lane, and get Dandy rolling early. So let's see if he can repeat that performance today. In this super high stakes match, third place match. Between Zhang and Goon Squad. Going all the way to 3 games here. So what would our final lock-in be? It's gonna be Darcy gonna lock in that Corki for himself again. And you would assume that Goon Squad are gonna ban that Cassidy away to prevent that big counter pick.
You don't have the heart for this.
Lucian is gonna be the first ban. So that's a one big Corki counter gone. Now, yeah, you definitely expect Goon Squad to pick Cassidy next as their final ban. So what is Zhuang gonna ban away? They're gonna ban away Mr. Grey's Cane.
Controls them.
That did slip through the draft this time, but it is gonna be taken out here in the second round of bans. So Goon Squad, there it is. Unsurprisingly, the Cassidy is gonna be taken out. Cassidy really gets a very free lane against the Corki.
The warrior spirit is never broken.
And now Xin Zhao taken away from Mr. Grey this time. Zhuang do not want to lose an early game as dominantly as last game. So what will Goon Squad pick? It's going to be Leona locked in here. So an engaged support for Meerkat. Yeah, the Pantheon was considered for a second, but they do go with the Leona. And now Supernub and Volkner. Samira and Norlis already picked, so we just have mid lane and top lane left, and it's gonna be Dandy on his Silas here. And Immerse God now locking in that Wukong. He's had enough playing scaling champions. Gonna play a much more lane aggressive bully now. And I'm actually curious to see how this top lane matchup goes with Wukong versus Urgot. I would have thought that maybe Urgot is favored, but could be proven wrong by the Wukong. Wukong does have an incredibly strong early game, able to stack that armor. And that final lock in here for the side of Goon Squad is going to be Mr. Grey locking in on his Trundle. So maybe they picked that Trundle in response of the Zac. Gonna have plenty of tanky targets to shred. Trundle is very good into Aftershock champions because you wait for them to proc their Aftershock and you pop that ultimate and you gain insane value from that. So after KipQX engages, if Mr. Grey is able to ult him away, they will be able to shred through this Zac, who would normally be super tanky. So I do like this Trundle pick here. It does make sense in the comp. Zac jumps in, you Trundle ult him, Corki and Ashe shred him to pieces. But again, we'll have to see if KipQX is able to set up a lot of these early dives. Or not really dives, but early ganks on this Zac. Silas does have very good gank setup under a Corki. Immerse God will have very good gank setup when he hits level 6. And obviously we don't have to mention how good Norlis is at setting up ganks. So KipQX, he's shown this in the past, he's able to really assert a lot of pressure early game through ganks. And he has 3 lanes with good gank setup this game. In comparison, Goon Squad, Trundle ganks are possible early game. That pillar is a very powerful ganking ability. But he doesn't, the problem for Mr. Grey is he doesn't have as much gank setup. Leona does offer very good. Leona Ashe in the bot lane will have very good gank setup, but Samira is actually able to block out the Ashe ultimate. Corki doesn't really offer any gank setup in the mid lane. Urgot possibly, if Immerse God goes aggressive onto him, will be able to set up a gank. But overall, Mr. Grey is going to have a lot more of a hard time ganking in the early game. But he will be very useful when it comes to these team fights. And you know what? A Trundle normally loses value when he gets kited out, but if you see the side of Zwang, they have 4 melee champions and a Samira who's very close ranged. So Mr. Grey on the Trundle is going to have plenty of targets to hit in these fights, and he's going to be incredibly tanky, able to steal away the Zac. So the more I think about it, the more I really like this Trundle pick this game. Sweaty Jeans on the Urgot as well. Gonna have big value. Urgot, again, another weakness of Urgot is he gets kited out. But his short range is not gonna matter against Zwang's composition. They're gonna all be in range of him to hit them. And Cork and Ashe gonna be able to peel backwards as well. So this game I probably favor Goon Squad's draft. Their team fighting would definitely be a lot easier to execute this game than Zwang's. However, the scary thing is, Zwang have the opportunity to snowball this game out of control in the early game. Just through the huge amount of gank setups through all their lanes. So this time the onus will be on Zwang to make plays in the early game, in contrast to the first 2 games of this series. So it's going to be a very different style of game here. So will Zwang be able to do it, or will Goon Squad scale up into their superior team fighting? We will have to see. So we are just 10 seconds away from the start of the final match in the 3rd place match of the Semester 1 Rumble. And the last time it got to 3 games between these 2 teams, Goon Squad were the ones that edged it out. And I do favor their comp in team fighting this game. But then again, as I said, Zwang, early game, lots of opportunities. So